Hi, I'm Cherie Cornick, and I'm at the top of my sweater at the shoulders, about ready to do a 3-needle bind off. But before I do that, I'm going to put a crocheted edge on my Steek that I can use for as a guide and a finishing for cutting it. So here I am. I'm going to start right down here at the bottom. This is the right edge of my Steek. This is the left. And this stitch is the one that I am going to be crocheting up, and I'm also going to cut right up the center of that. You'll notice that these are striped, which is helpful to me in saying where I am, but you'll also notice that they change color. And that's because the edge stitches are always done with a background color. And since my backgrounds change with each band, so are my edge stitches going to change, and so is my center stitch that I'm going up. So I've got it marked right here that you can see where I'm headed. I'm going to use a golden colored yarn. It's yarn I'm working with in this sweater, and then I think it'll show up nicely for me as I'm demonstrating this, and it will also blend nicely. So I'm going to start crocheting down here at the bottom edge of the Steek where I cast on the stitches. And what I'm using for this is a slip stitch crochet, not a single crochet. So I go into my fabric, bring the yarn through, and then without wrapping again, I bring it through again. So I'm headed over to this solid green color. All right, here I am, and the two stitches that I'm going to crochet together, the two parts, are this leg of the dark green color, and this leg of the buttermilk color. So my crochet hook goes into the buttermilk, into the dark green, catches my Scotch broom, and I'll go around the edge. The tough part is trying to hang on to your yarn and feel like you're getting your stitch from underneath. So if you hold it kind of pressed together like this, it's a little easier to get into this stitch, into the stitch, the center of my Steek, pull it through, and pull it through again. Just like that. Now, when I first did this, my tendency was to keep it a little loose. You might think of it like a bind off. But that's not what you want to do. You want to keep it pretty snug so that the edge of the Steek does not flare out. I'm going to go right into here, right through the center, and I'm going to get rid of this center marker since I don't need it to show you any longer. There we go, right into that green stitch, the gold stitch, and through. So each stitch gets connected to the stitch beside it. And when I look at the chain that I'm creating, you can see it's a pretty tight little chain. It's not drawing this fabric in, but it is not loose. I'm going to do a couple that are loose and show you what you don't want. So this is what you don't want. You don't want it kind of loose like that. You want it tighter, much more snug, and it'll hold the fabric just the way it needs to be held. I'm going to continue up this steek, and when I come back, I'm going to see if I can find my example of what happens if your crocheted edge is too loose. I'm going to tighten that down a little bit, bring it right through there. I want it to be nice and snug. Oh, I'm going to tighten that down again. So there we are. You can see it stands up just a little bit. The other side that I'm going to do will be picking up this edge of this stitch and the other edge of the center stitch. See the other edge right here, the center stitch. And where we're going to be cutting is right down the center of that. Okay, see you in a few minutes.